Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans. And what I'm going to share with you now is some video footage that I came across, which was very close to where I grew up as a young teenager in Greytown in Natal. It's called the Shu Shu Hot Springs. That's SHU Hot Springs. And when I was a teenager, and my hormones were running wild like all teenagers do, one of my favorite spots to go to was the Shu Shu Hot Springs. And back then, this is back in the mid-1970s, there was this most beautiful resort with these separate houses that you could rent for a weekend or a week or whatever, and they had these hot springs, and the further up you went, the hotter they were, and they just slowly got cooler, and somewhere in the middle was really beautiful. You could just sit there for hours. And there was a sign next to one of the hot springs that has changed my life in such a huge way. And it was basically a cement slab, and on that cement slab it said, "The kiss of the sun for pardon, the song of the bird for mirth. You are closer to God in a garden than anywhere else on earth." Isn't that beautiful? Now, I actually have a similar sign in my garden. It says exactly the same thing, and to me it's one of my most treasured objects because it just reminds me of Shushu and what was an absolute idyllic setting. It was, the gardens there were beautiful. They had flowers there. I mean, it was just beautifully laid out. And that's all gone. Now what you have is just the remainder of the concrete containers around the various levels of the hot spring. And you'll see that in the video that's attached. And worse still, you'll see that the river that's coming down beside the springs is incredibly dirty. When I was there back in the 1970s, it was like, it was like it just come out of a spring. It was just so beautiful. This is the reality of South Africa, guys. It's going down the tubes. You'll actually see in the video that's attached the remnants of the buildings that used to be next to Shu Shu Hot Springs. You can actually see them. It's all gone. Everything's been stripped away. I know it's a silly little memory I had from my teenage years, but my God. Where is South Africa going to be in 50 years' time? That's a frightening question. I have no doubt that the Chinese will be running the country. All right, guys, I've rambled on enough. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. And now I'm going to show you the video, and it's a drone. It's a drone flying over Shu Shu Hot Springs near Greytown. They're actually, the springs are actually between Greytown and the Kop, going up, or Kranskop. It's sort of like between the two. And when you go on the road between Greytown and Kranskop, you turn off to your right and you get to Shu Shu Hot Springs. But anyway, the video speaks for itself. It's totally gone.